Good evening. I have some news that will delight you. Murder is not dead. I do not refer to the ones splashed all over the front pages. Those are in such bad taste. I refer to those exquisite murders that have a touch of the bizarre and which take fiendish ingenuity to solve. Those are alive and well. One will be presented for your shivering delight immediately.
Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense. Alfred Hitchcock was born in London in the year 1899. As a young man, at the age of 14, Alfred tragically lost his father and had to discontinue his education, but continued to study and read on his own. He attended school, and in the evenings, attended theater and cinema performances regularly. In 1920, Alfred was offered a job with the famous Players Lansky, which had opened a studio in London. The famous Players Lansky, an American company, hired Alfred as a title designer, where he began to develop his love for the art of film. By 1925, Alfred had become a full-fledged director, and in 1927, Lodger was released with mixed reactions. The audience found the focus on murder and suspicion, even sexual attraction, was considered to be aberrant at the time. During the so-called silent years, Hitchcock directed 9 movies such as The Pleasure Garden in 1925, The Mountain Eagle in 1927, and Easy Virtue also in 1927. In 1939, Hitchcock traveled to America, where in 1940, he directed his first American film, Rebecca, which won an Academy Award for Best Film.
Good evening, Mr. De Winter.
What the devil do you think you're doing?
Becca. But it's the picture, the one in the gallery. What is it? What have I done?
Go and take it off. Doesn't matter what you put on, anything will do. What are you standing there for? Didn't you hear what I said?
Sir George and Lady Moore, Dudley Tennant, Admiral...
Much to his chagrin, he was not recognized as the best director. During his career in America, Hitchcock directed an unprecedented 1 movie per year, with movies such as Foreign Correspondent in 1940, Strangers on a Train in 1951, I Confess in 1953, Dial M for Murder in 1955, and North by Northwest in 1959. But there was one aspect in 32 of Alfred Hitchcock's movies, his famous cameos. Arguably, one of the most powerful scenes in cinematic history was from the movie Psycho. Until this day, some women who have seen the movie still will not take a shower by themselves. Over the years, Alfred Hitchcock developed new techniques, such as this one called the track and zoom.
Eyes were the same as those first weeks after she died. I used to listen to him, walking up and down, all night long, night after night.
Alfred Hitchcock inspired many directors in years to come, such as Brian De Palma and Quentin Tarantino. Here, we see an homage to the Great One in these two similar scenes, one from Psycho, the other from Pulp Fiction.
It's good to see you. I must go. I know I'm a good run. Anyway, my eyes are not accustomed.
But when it came to introducing his movies to the audience, Hitchcock participated in his trailers, and in some cases, sets the tone of the movies as well.
I dare say you are wondering why I am floating around London like this. I am on the famous Thames River, investigating a murder. Rivers can be very sinister places, and in my new film, Frenzy, this river, you may say, was the scene of a very horrible murder.
It's a woman!
Another necktie murder.
Of course, one can never be sure where danger lurks. They tell me a dreadful crime was committed right in this building. My investigation next led me to this innocent alley, of which there are hundreds in London. But I don't think we should stay long. Something unpleasant is about to happen. Here is the scene of another horrible murder. This is the famous London wholesale fruit and vegetable market, Covent Garden. Here you may buy the fruits of evil and the horrors of vegetables. I've heard of a leg of lamb, a leg of chicken, but never a leg of potatoes.
With memorable films and even television shows, Alfred Hitchcock has left a legacy for all of us to enjoy for many years to come.
How do you do? I am Alfred Hitchcock, and I would like to tell you about my latest motion picture, Marnie, which will be coming to this theater soon. Marnie is a very difficult picture to classify. It is not Psycho, nor do we have a horde of birds flapping about and pecking at people willy-nilly. We do have two very interesting human specimens, a man and a woman. One might call Marnie a sex mystery, that is, if one used such words. But it is more than that. Perhaps the best way to tell you about the picture is to show you a few scenes.